Welcome to this episode of Liberty Creek. On this episode, I want to move the generator shed. Let me show you where it's at now. I moved it from there to there last time I was up. What I want to do is run conduit from where you see the wire coming out over here. I want to put conduit into the ground, run it straight over to that little pile of brush there, and have the door facing this way, exhaust pointed out into the woods, and have it all underground. So that is what I'm going to attempt to do today. I want to get it further away from the house so it's quieter and just a lot more cleaner over here. You know, we've got the extension cord running over. I want to clean all that up. So what I did buy is some conduit. I got 50 feet of conduit. I got 50 feet of underground wire. I just got to dig the ditch. Before I disconnect anything from the house, I'm going to dig the ditch. And then we'll start wiring up and working on it. What I also want to do, but I have until next winter, is I want to raise it up about three feet off the ground. So when I come and there's 3 feet of snow on the ground, I don't have to dig it out. I can walk over, open up the door, and start the generator. So let me start that process. Let me give you a quick look at the generator. If you watch any of my generator videos, everybody always has a comment. Why did you put your exhaust like that? There's other ways to do the exhaust. To be honest with you, I did a lot of research before I put the exhaust on this particular machine, the Predator, and there wasn't too many ways at that time to do it. There was like 2 or 3 ways. Guys used some flex exhaust tubing, and the couple that I watched, and I emailed one of them, and he said basically it slips on the existing exhaust, but there was no way to clamp it on securely. And I didn't want that. He said he was trying to find a method of doing it. Okay, I'm sure there's mechanics out there that would drop a weld on it or something. So then I saw this other guy do it on his YouTube, and he said it was working fine, and I was getting ready the material to do it, and then he came out with an updated video, and he changed to how I put my exhaust. In the video he explains because there was no secure way to secure the exhaust onto the existing exhaust without using some type of weld or something like that, and he didn't know how to do that. He wanted something very simple but something safe and didn't allow the exhaust leaks, and this is the method that he used. So there is like 2 or 3 different ways of putting and extending exhaust on your Predator. At the time, this is the safest, cheapest, and most secure way of doing it, and that's why I did it this way. This roof was left over from the outhouse build. I had them sitting on the side for, I don't know, 2.5 years, and I threw them on. I want to put a metal roof on probably later on this year. I'll run to Lowe's and get something that's similar to what's on the cabin and put a metal roof on. On the side here I have, this is supposed to be for, and I probably will change it to a electrical plugs cover. I just use it to bring the cord in right now. This is I think it's 4x4. So there she is. She sits in there. I put her on a little mat right now. I could eventually, I have some storage up top. It does heat up inside, so I'm thinking about, I always leave the door open when we're here, but I'm thinking about getting a attic fan to blow air across the generator and put some vents on the other side. But this is all from scrap. There's some scrap pine, there's some scrap plywood, 2x4s. I think I did buy a couple 2x4s. Some smart siding I used. The hinges I bought from Home Depot. It is not rocket science. I threw this up in probably like, I don't know, hour and a half. I put this thing together last summer. Was it last summer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So on This actually fits my big Predator too. If I wanted to bring the big Predator, I'd come around back here. Here's the exhaust. You know, I could clean it up, put some nice trim on it eventually. I try to level it out, but the exhaust comes out the back right here. This is why I have a long pipe. Everyone says, why'd you use such a long piece of pipe? This is why, because I pull it out, I fill it up with gas, I push it back in, line it with the hole, and it sticks out like this, and it works perfectly. Actually, this pipe does not heat up as hot as I thought, and it cools down extremely quick. I put a piece of what's that stuff called? Backer board.
Cement board.
Cement board. I put a piece of the wonder board, cement board, backer board, whatever it's called. I cut a bigger hole square around it, then I cut a hole in the backer board, and I just slipped it in and out because I didn't want the pipe, if it did hit, maybe start a fire or something. So that's the way I did that. There's probably better ways. All right, so Jen and I in our matching Gore-Tex. Jen liked my Gore-Tex, so I got her one from eBay. And she got the better one. She got the newer one. That's the Marine Corps one. I think I have like the Army version or something. Definitely an older jacket. But anyway, here we are, matching jackets. And we started to lay out our conduit. And I don't know what that big pile is. God knows what the last people buried there. But it has to go through that pile. And because I didn't bring no elbows. I should have bought some elbows. Then I could have came around and went straight. But I didn't. So I'm going to attempt to do it, see what happens. And I'm going to just set this up over on the corner. We already took down, I had to take down a little tree, a couple little trees and some shrubs and stuff over here, cleaned it up, and now we're going to lay down the conduit, and then we'll try to follow along with it with the auger, just putting about maybe a foot into the ground. Doesn't have to be crazy, and we'll go from there. Jen, good job on the ditch. Then when we first started this ditch, I bet you all were thinking, damn, why is she doing the hard job? Let me tell you, this auger is the hard job. Rip your elbows right off. But once I got done digging the holes, I grabbed a shovel and helped Jennifer dig, because that's not fun either. Especially, the worst part was down here. Let me show you. Because this had all roots in it. And when you're trying to shovel with roots, it sucks. Right, but give you a quick look of our 40-foot trench. And it's going to go right here. The conduit's going to come down, hit an elbow, and work yourself down. This is red 7 going in. I'm taking the shot. We're going to keep at it now. Now we're going to try to start running the conduit in our trench, see if we could bend it to the curves and stuff. It didn't need to be that deep. The problem here is the last owners built up dirt right here. We're not sure why. Actually, it looks like they might have had some type of dirt dropped off at one time, because it's much darker soil right there than anywhere else. I don't know what. We thought that was like a garbage pit, but apparently it's not. I dug pretty deep and didn't pull out any garbage. Or, you know, we had the worst thoughts. We thought maybe they could have had like a septic or a little homemade septic tank or something, but I'll see nothing in that little hump of dirt. But yeah, it's coming along. Let me get back to work, stop yapping. All right, folks, so we ran the wire through the conduit, which was much harder than I thought. Really takes a strain on your hands. I left my wire snake at home, so I don't know why the wire seems like it fits fine through it. It's just like once you get halfway through, it starts like binding up, and especially towards the end, that last 6 or 7 inches, man, destroys your hands. And you gotta keep pulling it out. Anyway, we got it through. Now I'm gonna remove this box here. This box is for the big generator, the 4 Pro. This box, if you watch my how I get electricity in the cabin, this box will run the entire breaker box, will run big AC units, stuff like that, if I hook my big Predator, if I bring it up to the cabin. This is for the Honda small Predator. This will run just half of the box, and I set up the box to only run on one leg. This one has one extra outlet in the cabin that it will power for a AC. If I ever ran AC in our bedroom and a bigger unit, I would have to use the bigger Predator with this. So this is the main one. This is the one that right now I'm concentrating on running to the generator shed way over there. As you can see, I have no idea what I'm doing. There we go.
It was just tight, remember?
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna pull that out. They got little flathead screws that hold in the wires. Just like that. So there you go. So took the white off, took the black off. Okay, white, black. They're running straight from out of the cabin. There's my ground that's running out of the cabin. Took the round off the box. All right, now take the box off, relocate it on that side, either in the shed, out of the shed. Some way it's going to happen today because I need electricity back in the cabin later. So I'm in it now, and it's going to happen regardless. So let me get to work and pull this off. I'm going to need, when you're doing projects up at the cabin, you need every tool available, because you forget something, you're screwed. I try to bring even stuff that I don't think I need, and 2 of them, and enough batteries for all of them, because my luck is something, and then you're screwed. You're halfway in a project and then you can't finish it. It's the only bad thing about leaving a tool at home that you need for a project. Let me place this down over here. I actually marked on here the screws colors, so it makes it easier when I get on that side. Now this is going to go like this. There should be a hole cut big enough so I could slip that in, but of course I don't have, the hole's not big enough. I don't have that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just cut this off, put it up against the house like so, and then silicone around it. It'll work fine. I'll put a couple screws in and I'll hold it, and I'll also silicone my old box screws. All right, we've jumped ahead about an hour and a half since you saw me doing work. Now Jen's over here behind the little pine, and this is what we accomplished. So there it is. It's almost like a campsite plug-in. Now I ran it down all the way down, about a little over 40 feet now away. On a side note, I went to Bass Pro Shop last weekend and I bought some of these bad boys. Now, I have had some cheap ones that I bought from Tractor Supply, and they work. They're the most uncomfortable boots, though. I've had them for about 3 years. My toes kill me in those things. I got two different sizes. They're just not comfortable. You wear them for long periods of time, and your toes, my toes are killing me. Like, oh my God. So I went out. I stopped being cheap. I think those things were like 20 bucks. I still was cheap because it's ridiculous. You go to Bass Pro Shop, they have an entire wall, maybe 30 boots like this. I have no idea what's the difference between the $60 boot and the $200 boot. They all look the same to me. I ended up with $80 Cabela boots, and what a difference than the cheap rubber ones at Tractor Supply. Mud season up here, you have to have boots like this. Done deal. That's a wrap. I just got to clean up the area a little bit, and it looks so much better without that big long extension cord hanging. So that's it. Generator's running right now. Power's on inside the cabin. It's I don't know, a good 40 feet away from the cabin now, and it's nice and quiet. You can barely hear it. Like I said, before winter, I will be raising it up on a better base. I might put down a cement pad. So there's the generator project's not completed yet, but it's a lot better. We keep doing a little at a time, and this took us quite a bit of the day. I think we started around 9. It's probably about 2:30 now, digging the ditch, and that auger helped out a lot. If you haven't seen my auger video, I highly recommend it. I mean, I just dug a trench with my auger. Without that, it would have been a nightmare. Thanks so much for watching, folks. We truly appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell, do all those things. Share the video. I'm getting a lot of new subscribers. Thanks for joining my channel. We'll take you along with Jennifer and I's adventure to build a cabin in the woods. This July will be 2 years since we broke ground, and we have accomplished so much. Now, we sold the RV, so we do have some funds, so we're hoping to put that covered porch on this year. That will be an adventure in itself, because everything I do always becomes an adventure and a headache. But we got the generator shed all set, all ready, until I hold off to the winter before I raise it and do whatever. Maybe I'll put a cement pad in, I'm not sure, but that's done. It's away from the house. It's nice and quiet. Everything's good to go with the generator now for a while. Let's move on to the next projects. In the upcoming video, hopefully I'll be putting the soffits on the cabin. All right, stay tuned to see that. Thanks for watching again. Peace.
Update on my mailbox, folks. Of course, there had to be a problem. Jennifer called the post office and asked what are the requirements of putting up a mailbox. Lee said, ask your neighbor if you could put it up right next to his. I did. We did it. Then we get a little letter in the mailbox saying that the mailbox needs to be 4 feet off the ground, or even with my neighbors that there's like a 4-inch difference. So I guess eventually I'll be raising it. Always something. See you on the next one.